Today we're going to talk about the videos that I have either unlisted or made private over the years and why, and I will give you access to these videos and you'll be able to watch them if you so choose. Hello noble ones, welcome back to my channel. This is the Metatron speaking, and I'd like to say that brevity and precision are the core values when it comes to the organization of my scripts for the high production videos. But today this video is not scripted, it's completely unscripted, and therefore I will be a little bit rambly, so I wish to begin by apologizing profusely to you. To cut a long story short, finding misinformation and debunking myths is definitely one of the main goals of this platform and my channel. And I usually try to achieve that with trying to be as unbiased as possible, trying to have deeply researched information, and also, when it comes to the last, I want to say 2 years or so, the help of fellow academics. But of course, you can be the best researcher in the world, definitely not my case for me, but you can be the best researcher and a YouTuber in the world with an educational channel, you will eventually make mistakes. So what you're going to do with those mistakes, I think, is a dramatically important thing to establish early on in your career if you are the host of a educational channel. Now, my first video technically was posted in 2013, but it's in 2014 that I began my educational side of the channel, which will eventually take over. And since then, of course, I made many videos, and occasionally I've made videos that I wasn't really happy about, and therefore I turned unlisted or made private. How many, you say? To be specific, 318. Now, before you think that I've gone completely nuts or that I'm some sort of perfectionist, no, okay, I have to be honest about this. Within all of these, you have all of my videos for Patreon, because that's how I do it. I just upload them as unlisted here, and then I put the link on Patreon, so those of course don't count. Every time I work with a sponsor, I send them a draft, so that one is also unlisted. And a big chunk of my unlisted videos come from my interactive experiences. I have 4 videos that you can interact and literally play with that have lots of different possibilities, lots of different endings. You can be a Roman soldier. If you haven't checked them out, they are still usable, you just need to use the links in the description. But the way they function is that for each possible choice you have a small unlisted video, therefore those have like, I don't know, probably 100. But the one videos that I want to focus on today are those videos that have been removed for a reason, and some of these reasons are quite controversial, and today I'll share them with you for the first time, publicly. I think a critical aspect in order to have a successful educational channel is to embrace and accept criticism. Now, of course, sometimes some people are just haters, and I basically mostly ignore those or make videos about it. But sincere criticism is great for personal growth, as a content creator and as a person. And as I always claim, if seeking the truth is your final objective, then sometimes some videos just need to go. Now, this can happen because sometimes someone can criticize my work, either through a comment or maybe a dedicated response video, and of course I decide to then reevaluate my work, and if I see that something that I said was factually incorrect, I do one or two things. If the majority of the video is okay, but there is only 1 or 2 sections, even small sections, where I say something factually incorrect, I cut them off. Luckily, this is something that you can do through the inside or inner editor within YouTube. This happened, for example, both with Matt Heaston, who noticed I said something wrong. It was literally like a 30 seconds clip, but I said something wrong about Greek helmets. He made a response video about it on my video about blackwashing. And it also happened with a YouTuber called Zach. He's very knowledgeable when it comes to medieval armor, and he noticed that I said something wrong on my video about jousting helmets, which had to do with a technique that I had read about like moving your head backward before the impact, but apparently that was wrong. He corrected me and I removed that part. But other times, if I notice that either the premises of a video are incorrect or there are too many things that could be misunderstood, I sometimes decide to remove the video completely. This sometimes happens because I just made a mistake. Other times it can also happen though because maybe we have new evidence. Let's say I make a video 3 years ago about something and then new evidence comes to light. That video might be now obsolete or outdated and therefore is removed. I don't necessarily have to, but I usually choose to do it because I don't want to misinform. You will find links to these videos, most of these videos, in the description if you do want to go and check them out. The only reason why I'm still giving you access to these, even though there are some mistakes in them, is because at the end of the day, I think it's enough to not make them public, in the sense that if a new person who doesn't know anything about this context runs into one of these videos and they don't know, then they could be misinformed, but you know. So right now, I don't see any problem with you checking out some of these old videos if you wish to. I mean, the old ones are cringy and I take forever to get to the point, but you know, it is what it is. If you want to subject yourself to that, who am I to stop you? The video, The Mysteries of the Runic Alphabet, posted on October 2021, is one of those videos that I decided to change into Unlisted. That is because that video was actually a collaboration when it comes to the research between me and another person that I don't need to mention here. She doesn't have a channel, so it doesn't really matter. There were some good points that I made on that video, but there were also some things that were incorrect, and I want to say I do not blame this person. I take responsibility, because even though she may have given me some information that wasn't correct, it was up to me, and she knew that, to double check and triple check the information. I tried to do it, but unfortunately I didn't do a good job. I didn't notice that there were some things that were slipping. Again, my fault. And that video was published even though it contained some misinformation. At that time, I wasn't aware of Dr. Crawford. I am now, and I'm in contact with him, and hopefully, as a collaboration, I'll be able to make a remake of this video with him as a basis, and therefore I will have more accurate information. Of course, that video had a production cost. I'm okay losing that. So to those of you who, with constructive criticism, underlined the mistakes that I made, both with the research and the exposition, and corrected this in a respectful and decent manner, I very much appreciate. Of course, the same thanks do not go to those who did it with hate. And let's go to the controversial part that I promise, and this is gonna get heated. On the 8th of February 2018, I published a video titled Katori Shinto Ryu as a former Kendoka. So in 2018, I decided to start practicing Koryu, so sort of more traditional martial arts. And that was because, as you know, I used to make more of this type of content, but I still do. I like making content on feudal Japan and the samurai, and I love wearing armor. Now, it's not that I'm completely untrained when it comes to swords. I did do 3 years of Kendo, but of course Kendo is rather modern, and when you are putting on samurai armor, well, I wanted to be as accurate as possible when it came to the guard position, the grip, and everything else. So I decided, hey, I want to study Koryu. So I was lucky enough that in my city, Palermo, where I used to live, there was a Katori Shinto Ryu Kenjutsu dojo. So I started taking lesson, and I remember going to the dojo, having my first lesson, and getting very excited about it. So I went home and made a video, which is this one here, where from the perspective of a Kendoka, even though I only had received one lesson, which I made clear on the video, I had already noticed so many things that were different. The footwork was different, the guard positions were different, the grip was different, the way you use the sword, you attack with the sword, completely different. So out of excitement, I decided I want to make a video about this. It's gonna be fun, my subscribers are gonna love it. So I posted this video, and then I noticed that people in the community of Katori Shinto Ryu on the Facebook page, which has about, I think, 20,000 subscribers, had posted a link to my video, and gosh, the comments. The amount of hate that I received because of that video on that page was insane. People started calling me a fraud. They were extremely unwelcoming towards me. They absolutely hated the fact that I made a video, even though some people appreciated the fact that, you know, a YouTuber had just joined the family, shall we say, of Katori Shinto Ryu practitioners. Some people were excited about that, but a lot of people were extremely negative towards this. They were like, we don't want this kind of publicity. Of course, they're not speaking for the school, but I'm saying there is a lot of close-mindedness, unfortunately, in my experience, among some of the practitioners of the style. Again, not all. But because of that, I decided, hey, I don't want to be insulting. You know, I've just joined this dojo, this new martial arts, so I want to be respectful. If I did something that is considered disrespectful, I'll unlist it. So the video went from public to unlisted. The video was doing well, so of course by doing that I lost all the potential income that I could have got through the views, but I was like, it's okay, not a big deal. On that Facebook page I had some heated discussions, however, with people that were literally accusing me of lying. And even though at first I tried to respond in a sort of mild manner, as I usually do, some people call me a monk in morphine, and I tried to say, you know, hey, if I said something incorrectly, I apologize for that. I didn't mean to spread any misinformation about the style. It was just the perspective of a newcomer, and I made that one clear. But because people kept attacking personally my work also on other completely irrelevant and unrelated topics, I decided, you know what, let's just drop it. Anyways, I kept practicing the style, and I even had the honor of meeting Master Sugino, or Sugino Sensei, who is the leader, the head of the school, of course, when it comes to Sugino style. I was his personal and private translator for 3 days, where I translated everything, because of course I speak Japanese fluently, and so I translated his lessons, but I also went around with him at the restaurant in Italy, and, you know, I was his personal translator, interpreter, should we say. But I did ask him directly, is it okay if I make videos about Katori Shinto Ryu, and he specifically asked me, not to. And in fact, even the picture that we took together, he said, don't post it on Facebook, don't post it on YouTube. And that's, I respect that. I disagree with that approach, but it's his school, and so I respected that, and I never posted anything else when it comes to Katori Shinto Ryu. But I did make one more video, and that was the video called Hima vs Kenjutsu, which is still available on my channel. That is just a fun, light-hearted video of me and a Hima practitioner fighting, and I tried to use what could be sort of my interpretation of Kenjutsu techniques, not Katori Shinto Ryu, and then he was using his Hima knowledge. It's unscripted, so we actually fight and try to cut each other, and I think it's a fun video. And then we have a whole section where we discuss, and in that section I made it extremely clear that I was not representing the style, I was not trying to say this is how a Katori Shinto Ryu practitioner would fight, but of course, once again, on the Katori Shinto Ryu Facebook page, I received a huge backlash where people once again posted the link to my video and then flooded it with negative comments, saying, oh, he's so bad, he's horrible, a horrible swordsman, and he's disrespecting the style because he's doing that, but if it was me, I would have destroyed the Hima guy, and that kind of talk. Now, these very angry people in the comments, who were coming from several schools within the style, not Master Sugino and not my personal sensei, but some practitioners of the style, demanded this video to be removed from publication too, but I refused. And that's when I really kind of left the school. Again, I did have some good experience with some Katori Shinto Ryu practitioners, and I know that some of you out there do practice the style, and some people were very warm towards me, but unfortunately I had an overwhelming negative experience when it comes to some individuals in the school, and that's why I decided after a few months of practice to just leave the school and stop practicing it. I do not harbor any anger towards the school or practitioners, but that video stays up because I don't think that I did anything wrong with that one. With that being said, there are several videos that people, just out of hate, ask me to remove, and I won't do it unless there is a reason to. For example, I am aware of a couple of channels who have made response videos when it comes to, in general, my opinion with inclusivity and race swapping and the past, and people who made response videos to my videos on Black Egypt, and whether the ancient Egyptians were black, mixed, or white. Some of these videos are absolutely based on hate, but there are some videos that do bring forth some interesting point, and I've decided to respond. These response videos are of course taking time, also because now I'm responding to some of these videos backed with 7 academics. In other words, 3 linguists, one of which is me, an archaeologist, an historian, an Egyptologist, and an anthropologist PhD. This is currently my full team, and this video response will be strong. If there are mistakes, I'll admit them publicly. But if there are things that people just hate, but I still think, particularly with the help of my academic friends, that I was correct, I'll double down. So look forward to these response videos. I'll make 2. Hopefully soon. There are also a couple more videos that are kind of old. One has to do with weapon-based martial arts, and then there was one video about Iaido that I made a few years ago, and all of these have been unlisted simply because, unfortunately, I had a clash with another channel, and you don't know much about this. I mean, I did go public with one video, we cleared the air, and then this specific channel, I'm not gonna say the name, but I'll tell you why in a second, this specific channel sent a copyright claim to one of my videos. This happened many years ago. Now I responded to him privately, and before going public with this, I told him that I was ready to go to war because he had absolutely no reason to do the copyright claim, given I did use a little bit of footage. I'm talking about like 10 seconds of footage that belonged to him, but he had given me permission. And then simply because we had disagreed on a matter that had to do with martial arts, then he decided to do the copyright strike. So I told him, that copyright strike needs to be removed. If you don't remove it, I'm ready to go to war and go public, but I do ask you, let's not do this, let's not do this huge YouTube drama, just remove it. Luckily, he immediately responded and he apologized. He said he didn't really know how the system worked because this is an old guy, and he said, I apologize for that, I didn't know it was that big of a deal, I'll remove the strike immediately, and that's why you don't know anything about that, and that's also why I don't want to go public with his name, because at the end of the day, I do believe it was an honest mistake, but I did remove all the 3 videos that had any footage that had to do with him, just in case. There is another video that I removed, and it's kind of a funny situation to make it a little more lighthearted now, and it's the video When Was Plate Armor Really Invented? Now you can still find this video on my channel, but it's a re-upload, in the sense that I did make a same video first, and then within the first, I want to say, hour, one of you subscribers made me realize that I think it was in the middle or the end of the video, at one point there was an image that I had used to represent, I think it was ancient Greece, but it was a very sexual image, and I hadn't noticed that. Because at the time, mind you, I did not have a very good computer. To be honest, I didn't have the financial possibility to buy a very expensive computer. Now I have a very good computer, but back in the day, I didn't. And so in order to edit my videos, I had to edit them, putting the resolution to a quarter or half. So sometimes I couldn't see, during editing, the small details. And so what happened is that I published this video without realizing that there was an image that was quite graphic. So someone made me notice that, so I blocked the video immediately, also because, you know, you never know. My channel is not for kids. I always say the channel is not for kids, but you never know. So I just I blocked the video immediately, and then I removed that part, re-rendered and re-uploaded. Lost some views because of it and some comments, but at the end of the day, you know, it's something you can just laugh about because I just literally hadn't noticed. On the 20th of January 2017, I also published a video about the Ninja Turtles, but I did say something that was incorrect. Again, this is many years ago, so of course I didn't have the same amount of time as I do now when it comes to the research, because I was a full-time high school teacher and language expert. I was working through the EU funds of university and research. I was teaching in numerous schools at the same time. Not a job that I do anymore. Funny enough, some haters spread lies. Luckily, these people don't even have the views to make impact or to have any weight, but some people were saying, oh, Metatron was fired because he was lying, and that's not true. I quit my job as a teacher because YouTube was taking off. As simple as that. People always have to come up with lies, elaborate lies, to justify their hate. In fact, up to 3 years after quitting my job as a full-time teacher, I was still receiving offers from the schools that I had worked for who were telling me, are you sure you don't want to come back? So no, definitely they didn't fire me. I left because I thought, you know, with YouTube I can still teach, still kind of the same skill, but, you know, it's working better for me and I like it more. Anyways, I made this Ninja Turtle video. I made a mistake, I don't even remember what it was, but I remember that it kind of bothered me, so I just removed the video, re-upload, similar situation. Anyways, just like I mentioned at the beginning, you will find links to these videos, most of these videos, in the description. But I do want to finish and conclude this video with a message to all content creators out there. It is important to stay open to criticism. As long as it's constructive criticism, it's okay if people tell you that you said something wrong, and it's in fact a great way to improve the overall quality of your channel and production. I also, of course, think that some people sometimes are a little defensive when it comes to criticism, because oftentimes it's connected with hate, and when that happens you kind of don't want to hear what people have to say if the beginning of the thing is a complete insult or an attack ad personam. With that being said, to those of you who are constructive critics, feel free to let me know what you think. If you think something I said is incorrect, I'd be more than happy to change it, to remove little bits, or even to make re-uploads if it's something serious. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for your support.